Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Arab Advisors Group and our parent company, the Arab Jordan Investment Bank, I thank you for gracing us with your presence and welcome you to the Smart Handheld Summit in Dubai. The smartphone and tablet markets have grown exponentially over the past few years, with major implications for the Arab world's telecom markets and economies at large. The supply of broadband cellular networks, coupled with the boom in the smartphone and tablet adoption in the region, are driving a tsunami of mobile data. This underlines the rising importance of smartphones and tablets, whose wide adoption and the implications thereof are the focus of operators, vendors, and consumers. I would like to thank Saudi Telecom Company, the strategic summit partner, for its support and trust, and Qualcomm, the summit sponsor, in addition to all of our summit partners.
Just to start, if we think about the mobile telecom industry a few years ago, the boundaries and territories were very clear between the three main players in this industry: the network providers, the handset manufacturers, and the operators who used to own the full interaction with the customer and the user experience. Yet, since the launch of the mobile phones, there were trials to do what's so-called smartphone, which is going beyond the basic telecom service of messaging and voice. The real evolution actually started with the iPhone launch in 2007. That have changed the whole game of the industry, and we started in a new era where the whole ecosystem of the mobile telecom have actually started changing. Since that launch in 2007, there is a continuous growth of the smartphone adoption in all over the world, and this is also expected to go much further in the next years.
I'm going to start this with a very bold statement, which is the mobile industry has created the largest technology platform in the history of mankind. This is not a small thing. You have close to 5.7 or 5.8 billion subscribers worldwide, out of which 4 out of 5 of these subscribers are in emerging markets, places like in the Middle East, Africa, China, India. So this is where the growth is going to be in the future, and this is where the engine for driving this industry is going to happen. So what's important to note is that there are few numbers and few statistics that sound quite staggering. The first one is that there was a report by the World Bank that $1.3 trillion is the revenue from the wireless industry worldwide, which is 2% of global GDP. So what's more important than that, which is what's important to us, is that there was another statistic, which is a 15% increase in handset and smart handheld market will result in a 1% increase in local GDP, specific to emerging markets.
Being at the summit, and basically you're the leaders of the industry, and the format of the summit, the panel of course, is to gain your insights and perspectives into the different dynamics happening in the region. So basically it's general points that we want to discuss. We want to probe, pick your brains if you will, on basically where do you see it going, what are the best strategies for operators and content providers in the evolving landscape. And the format, of course, is to have introductory remarks from each of you on a certain hot topic that you think should be addressed in this panel.
So thank you, Jawad, for giving me the opportunity to express myself, especially about one of the points you mentioned in your question. With the smart phone or smart handle platform, are we enemies or, I don't know, friends or foes? So I think we have to notice just at the beginning that in the telecom sector, there is no zero-sum game. You know, the main point in our industry is to increase the cake. And today, with the disruption, the disruptive, I will say, introduction of smartphone, the cake is increasing hugely. So we have to fight to increase it more and more. I think it's a point which is very important because all our history is adaptation to technology, to new technology, which are very often disruptive. But I can confess that today, really smartphone and after that iPhone, iPad, etc., and the other smartphone with Android are more than disruptive because they are introduced in the market with very, very speedily. I mean, it goes very fast. So the operator have, I will think, a long-term view. They have to react also very fast.
Your perspective as Etisalat, how would you and do best manage this major growth in data communications profitably in a way that allows you to continue to invest in the future of the networks as well?
Well, firstly, thank you. Indeed, I agree like everyone else here that data is a huge opportunity, and I think it will be our most major revenue stream within the foreseeable future, even though it's not now. And I think the UAE particularly, and I think both of us would agree, there's huge growth that's starting to come through. And we're going to play catch up. Some of the statistics that were presented earlier show that the Middle East perhaps is a little bit behind some of the other markets, but the growth is fully expected to come, and indeed I think it will. Just some thoughts from my side, a little bit different from what's been said so far, though I'm sure many of my colleagues agree on this. I think operators are remarkable machines and remarkable factories that have been built up around the world. If you think about what we do as an operator, we take a kind of cookbook and we replicate it and we do brilliantly well at it. You know, we put in place infrastructure, we take big decisions on technology and then roll it out, and we, generally speaking, roll it out well. We provide customer service, we provide channel experiences that go through to the last mile of customers' lives. And that is a remarkable asset. And when everyone talks about all the new products and services that can be launched, it's all very well launching a product and service, but actually getting it to people and getting them to use it and to spend money on it takes a machine, such as operators have, to do it. So I think we sit on an incredible asset in terms of that machine.
Dr. Paul, we have a comment on the region being ready or not ready, having to invest in entrepreneurs. I guess this is a good segue into what you do as Timar Ventures. So could you have your thoughts from that perspective, please?
Telecom operators have one and only one option going forward. It is to improve their operational efficiency. They have no other alternative. And especially mobile operators that grew phenomenally, you know, amazing growth. The cost of that growth was hidden. So people didn't look at the cost of the growth because everything was growing. And today, they had to become more like fixed operators. They have to look at their costs, and they are amazing value drivers by the provision of infrastructure services and what they do. So telecom companies still have a very important role and important future and a lot of value, but it is that recognition of focusing on operational efficiency is so critical. And frankly, if I'm talking to a telecom operator that doesn't give me that as his #1 priority, I wouldn't invest a penny in that company. If I hear an operator telling me that he's going to create innovation and he's going to create platforms and he's going to compete with Apple, I wouldn't invest a penny in that company, okay, just to be clear. So it's about using your strength. So if you know how to use your strength, you'll be a very successful operator. If you try to play in somebody else's space, which is not your space, and you're not equipped to handle it, you actually lose the value of your strength.
Dr. Abdel Malik, I'd like your perspective on the notion that you should not go into apps as operators, just provide the platform. As a MENA apps
Thank you. At least I have a witness. What I'm going to say, I have said it when I was still heading one of the largest operators in the Arab region. In May, in the Arab Advisors, I did a presentation on the best business model for an application, or the content, the mobile application. So, so nobody can say that I've changed my mind when I'm now outside. You know, me and Paul now are من الخوارج. خرجنا من التليكوم industry. We're still in the telecom industry, but خرجنا من operators. I think there are key milestones and key facts that we should not ignore. In a recent study, in the MENA region, 45% accessed internet through their mobile. In Emirates, it's 50%. And 85% of those downloaded applications. 27%, at least one application. 27% more than one application. 20% of those actually paid for their applications. And social media is number one. 34% of those who downloaded used the internet on the mobile, went to the social media, then weather news, then sports. That's a key indication. 85% of those who used their mobile actually used Wi-Fi. And this is where it comes to the dumb pipe. Why they're using Wi-Fi? Because we know it's too expensive to use the data nowadays. So, and there's Wi-Fi almost everywhere. So those who download applications actually download applications when they are in a Wi-Fi zone.
Dr. Bassam, do you agree with the strategies proposed, or do you have another perspective, or do you have rebuttals on what has been said?
Well, perhaps I should start by remembering the old days. In Jordan, anybody who wanted to have a fixed line needed to speak to very influential people to have that connectivity. Nowadays, it's a completely different stories. The decision of a user or a customer to switch between one network and the other might depend on the package that one operator offers on an iPhone. So the world is moving from connectivity into lifestyle. And I think the lifestyle issue is very important for operators. And I must say, in all the conferences that we attend and speak in, there's one important point that every market is different. So whatever we say, every operator must look into their own market. And that's a pledge that I make here. And moving from connectivity into lifestyle dictated in operators many challenges. For example, the impact of smartphones introductions into the world is not imposing a question mark on the next strategy of mobile operators, but it's impacting all the layers from the network side, from the service delivery side, from the device side, and from the content side. So this integration of service, integration of customers' lifestyle and experience is really what operators should take a look at.